All right, now we're going to discuss OPEX Sustain. So OPEX Sustain is the aerobic energy system. So the fuel that we're utilizing, or the fuel that drives this energy system, is oxygen. The way that we can perform, or the ways that we can perform OPEX Sustain, we can do it in a cyclical, or just think about like an aerobic implement or going out and taking a run on the road, or we can do it in a mixed fashion. So think about a circuit, right? So going from this to that to this to that. And we'll talk about in George's program how to actually design and prescribe those. Now, why do we perform OPEX Sustain? It's the most efficient way to produce and burn energy. So it's the most efficient way. So just kind of think about when you found yourself in an aerobic scenario, you personally, right? You went out, you took a run, and it was truly aerobic. It could have been hard on the muscles, or you could have been breathing really hard, and then you just stopped and you took a couple breaths, and then you can just get going again, right? So it's a very efficient way to utilize fuel, or it's a very efficient fuel to utilize, O2 or oxygen. The next benefit of the aerobic system is an increased cardiovascular system. And this is so relevant to health. Although there are some performance benefits in that, it is very, very relevant to health. A stronger, more robust cardiovascular system is a great thing, right? Because we can do just normal day-to-day work and recover from that work. And I'll go very drastic, right? Like we all know the person that walks up the stairs and they're out of breath, and they're kind of bent over for a little bit, and they have to like take a break before they go up the next flight, right? Like we don't want to find ourselves as human beings in that situation. So aerobic work and having a really strong, or just having an adequate aerobic system can avoid those scenarios. The next thing that it does is it increases patience, right? It's again, find yourself in a situation where you're doing aerobic work. Let's say you're doing aerobic intervals, and you're doing 30 seconds on this thing, and you're doing 30 seconds off. And now imagine you doing that for an hour and a half, right? That might get boring, right? You might have to really dial in and focus on your pacing strategy and, to make that sustainable over those 90 minutes. But you finish that session and you're now a more patient person because you're practicing sustainability and patience through exercise and through fitness. And that's such a beautiful thing. And that's why we love OPEX Sustain here at OPEX. Now, who should do it? This one is as obvious as OPEX Gain. Everyone should do it. And that's why we are very biased in saying that every human being, if capable, should do resistance training and aerobic training. We're not saying every human being, if capable, should do OPEX pain or unsustainable training. That is so specific to the person and their goals and their function and all of that we talked about in the OPEX pain video. But everyone should do OPEX Sustain because of the reasons listed above.